Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at Dinosaur, a film that was basically forgotten but we still have a ride all about it. Dinosaur was released in 2000, and this is when Disney started to really diverge into CGI, and it was a huge deal back then. Animal Kingdom just opened in 1998, and this film came 2 years after, and this film also had a giant tie-in with one of the rides. They were banking on it a lot, and it didn't do that well. So I was curious to take a look to see why it was such a flop. I honestly really admired this film after watching it. It's a simple story. It's all about dinosaurs, and it's all about them traveling to their nesting grounds after the meteors hit. So the concept is really interesting. It also is very similar to Moses and Jesus in the Bible, where they're trying to get to the Holy Land before time runs out. And that's it. That's their journey. It is still a very enjoyable film and visually stunning. But the more interesting thing is you have this ride that's fantastic in Animal Kingdom. The ride is better than the movie is. And I think this is the first case where we have a ride that is better than the movie. It's still a wonderful, enjoyable movie, but if you're not a big fan of dinosaurs, you're not going to be a fan of the film because that's all it's about. The ride, you can be a fan of if you like adventure rides and not be that big a fan of dinosaurs. There still are tie-ins to the movie within the pre-show, and you are on a hunt for him.
Hello there! Welcome to our little trans-dimensional joyride, folks. I'm Dr. Seeker, your friendly controller, and a heck of a paleontologist, if I do say so myself. Oh, and one more thing. Those locked coordinates? We're in. Now, here's the drill. You follow the homing signal to the iguanodon, then I'll enlarge the transport field, and boom! You're back with one additional passenger extra large.
But it's not a big part because the movie didn't do well. They basically removed it and just made it very loosely based. But it's one of my favorites to go on, and I'm really excited now to go ride it. Well, I'm always excited to go ride it. But it's nice to be able to have the knowledge again of this film. They were lucky in this case. Dinosaurs are such a broad subject that they were able to just make a ride and not have to worry about having a tie-in with the movie.
Listen up. We've got to get in, grab the iguanodon, and get out before that asteroid hits. Let's roll!
Yeah. It's always interesting too because I think in the 90s, from what I remember, and it could have been just me, but I also feel like it definitely was a huge trend. Dinosaurs were a huge trend in the 90s. Whether they had more research that they did, we had dinosaurs television shows. I remember there was a mall store that was dedicated to dinosaurs. There were exhibits popping up all about dinosaurs. So it was huge during that time, and we were coming right off the brick of it in the 2000s. So it was perfect timing for it, but it still didn't do as well as they wanted it to. This is something I would like to do a lot more research on, why this movie didn't do well, but yet we have such a successful ride, but it will take time. So I just have to brief over it right now. I might be able to come back to it in the future, or someone else might do it before I do. But it is a topic to always think about, and it's really interesting to try to consider. But we have Dinosaur here, and it thankfully isn't going anywhere yet. it's still one of my all-time favorites in Animal Kingdom. It's like number one compared to, well, it's tied with Everest. And plus Bill Nye does the narration, and that's the literally only attraction that Bill Nye is left in. So we have to save Bill Nye because we already lost him at Ellen's Energy Adventure. The good news is the ride is still very enjoyable whether you see this film or not, but it's always interesting to know that there's a ride and a movie tie-in, and this movie is basically unknown anymore. I still definitely recommend that you check it out because it is still a stunning film visually, if nothing else. And it's a short story, it's not that long, and it does not drag. It really is a good time, and you can just watch it and it doesn't feel like it's slow paced, so that's very great. And the story is decent. And the fact that there's this giant ride always makes things more interesting. Tomorrow, we're going to take a look at yet another tie-in ride and movie with the Country Bears, so stay tuned. And as always, I hope you have a magical day, and I'll see you real soon. Wait, we're just stopped here.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
We just stopped. We didn't make it.
We didn't make it.
We didn't make it. We literally didn't make it.
Oh goodness.
Oh, you're gonna stay behind. You're not gonna stay here all night. Okay.
Mission accomplished.
You made it! I knew you would, and guess who made it back with you? I better find it before security does.